Hey everybody, Hutch here, and I also got Trader Fugazi, otherwise known as Lucky Luciano. What's up,
What's
Lucky?
up? How you guys doing?
And we have a surprise for you. So if you've listened to us on Twitter Spaces, by the way, this is where you follow us. Lucky's got a channel too. Definitely subscribe, definitely follow. If you've listened to Twitter Spaces, we've wanted a tool for anchor borrow for the Lunanomics strategy, as far as, how much capacity do I have to buy dips? And really what we've invented, and it's mostly Lucky, not me. I just think and talk. Lucky actually put this thing together, is essentially an Excel spreadsheet that's a complete dashboard for your anchor borrow and anchor earn positions to see the P&L, to see what your line in the sand is, where you get liquidated. You can see that on anchor borrow with your collateral, but assuming you have collateral staging in other places, like I recommend, if you add that in, it shows you where your line in the sand is. And it shows you if you buy dips, whether you're borrowing or whether you're paying with outside cash, like a DCA, how low you can get your line in the sand and how much you can borrow at different levels. It's incredible. Props to you, Lucky, for being able to build this thing.
Thank you.
You deserve it. So let's get into it. So go ahead and share your screen, and we're just going to go tab by tab. All right.
Sharing here.
Yep. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that C and D column, the enter inputs below, essentially the inputs that you enter here is going to cascade throughout the spreadsheet, save for one calculator, correct?
Yep. So, it's kind of that one-stop shop for users to enter the core key pieces we need to do a lot of the calculations across these different tabs that we're going to cover. So you want to we'll go one by one here.
Yeah, but so let's just set up what they're looking at. The little screenshot is, so Lucky showed me, I didn't even know there's a way on Anchor. You just enter in any wallet address and you can come up with somebody's actual position. You can't trade in their wallet, but you can see what's going on. So this is pretty common, this kind of LTV ratio. Lately, the net APR has been negative. And I've heard a lot of talk that people think that they're still making money with borrow. So what's great about this video is we're going to be able to take kind of your average situation, if you will, like this. And through this dashboard and these optics, we're going to be able to make some suggestions to manicure and optimize this position. Go ahead and tell them what's going on step by step.
Yeah. So we're asking for 8 inputs here. And we'll walk you through as we go tab by tab, like Hutch was saying. So enter the current price of bLUNA from Anchor. You'll find that there, guys, right at the collateral list on bLUNA. It's that big number right there. So we have that entered. Enter the current borrowed amount. So that's your borrowed value right there. Enter the current liquidation price. That's that small number, if you guys didn't know, right below your current price of bLUNA.
So that's your line in the sand. Just isolating this and no outside collateral staging. That is your line in the sand, if that's all you got, right?
And you'll see line in the sand a lot on the spreadsheet. So that's a great way to say it. It's the line in the sand that we're trying to defend. Some things that we're going to use at the very end that we're asking for is put in the borrow APR, which is right here. Put in the distribution APR, which is right here. Enter your earn APY anchor. So that is on the earn tab, not currently shown on this sheet, but go ahead and put the earn APY. The Luna staking yield, if you didn't know, you can find that at station.terra.money. Currently it's at 6.57. And then the last thing we're asking is the amount of earn you have in Anchor. That will play into this current Anchor P&L tab when we get there.
And I think it's worth noting, so the read-only field's up top. That's a great way to fact check your work. So why don't you show them where that stuff will show up?
Yeah, so essentially with these 3 pieces of data, mathematically, we can calculate backwards the number of bLUNA you have, your collateral value, the max amount of loan you can have, and your current loan to value. So if you enter these 3, these will populate for you automatically, and then you can cross-check that with the numbers here. So, 58.72, 25, 25538,434, which is right around here.
It's going to be like
a little bit
decimals off, but
a little bit off.
You're going to be very, very close.
So just remember, guys, bLUNA moves while you also do when you input this. So like, let's say bLUNA drops to 88. Watch what's going to happen to the numbers above, right? They're going to flip automatically for you. So, you just kind of want to keep checking if that bLUNA price is this price here, and those will be pretty darn close to what you're looking for.
It's amazing that he's built this. So if everything's like decimals away or a couple dollars on a $23,000 max loan,
we'll be okay.
You're going to be all right.
Right.
All right. Should we move on to the next tab?
Yeah. So I think the first ask, which I love this idea from Hutch, was, and I kind of do this on, I kind of do this on my own spreadsheet of like, I know where all my bLUNA and Luna is, but I never thought about like, what's my real line in the sand? Like, what is my true line in the sand? So this tab here called current collateral line in the sand is really asking if you have to go pull your, bLUNA out of some LPs, or you're sitting in spec, or you're across all the different protocols.
You're in Nexus, or it's just sitting in your wallet, wherever you have what we call collateral staging, however much bLUNA you have, or even other stuff you can quickly convert to bLUNA, whether it's actual Luna in an LP. If you put that in there, how low can you defend?
Right. So what we show here again are the read-only fields. So this is all brought from that first tab. So you can see that the current liquidation price that was from the first one is 52.79.8. Let's just say you had, give me a number, Hutch.
Let's say, well, how much was the original number?
So we have 327 originally posted in Anchor right now.
Let's just say you had 100 bLUNA somewhere else.
Okay.
You had 50 Luna and 50 bLUNA in the Luna bLUNA LP. And, we're not going to get into any ARBs. So just put 100.
Yep.
You could quickly get 100 bLUNA.
So 100 bLUNA, we're going to put that in 100. Boom. Your actual line in the sand, right? Without bringing in fresh powder, buying new stuff, is really 40.44.
That's awesome, especially considering not that past performance is any indication of future returns, and none of this is financial advice, but that was really right around the low last time. In fact, I don't think we quite got there. So that'd be a pretty good line in the sand to have.
Yeah, I agree. And so what's happening also, just so you guys can show, is when you provide that 100, it's recalculating essentially what your anchor would look like. So it bumps up your bLUNA to 100. It tells you what your new collateral value is, what your new max borrow is, and your new LTV. And just remember, it's all based off of the current price of bLUNA. So this doesn't account for if bLUNA goes down in price by like 40%. It's as if you added it right now.
Now, let's jump straight to the buy now.
Yep.
Because let's say there's a line in the sand you want to get to. Let's say like 35 is a pretty safe level. So Let's say you wanted to get to 35. You might as well put that 100 in there first. So it's
sure. So what this is asking you is enter the number of liquid bLUNA as collateral. You can also put 0. So let's just say we're going to use our 100 right now, and you want to get to a line in the sand of $35. So you would need an additional 66 bLUNA, however you want to say it, for roughly $6,000 to get to that 35 at this moment.
And that's in addition to the 100 you already have. And so obviously,
so if I took out this
100,
you would need 166 at a total cost of $14,700.
So bitching, man. This is so cool, this thing you built. Wow. I'm sure that's what everybody's saying right now, just watching.
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, everybody's going to have access to this. There's going to be info in the description below, and it's going to cost you the low price of how much, Lucky?
$0.00.
$0.00. Okay, cool. Yep. So we're having a sale forever on this for $0.00.
24-hour sale.
Okay, 24-hour sale.
Got to subscribe, like, retweet, and download all within 24 hours.
All of the above, yes. Yeah. To both channels and both Twitters. Kidding. But there is a place for donations should you guys choose to do it. Traded Fugazi, Lucky put in a ton of work on this, but it was just too cool. too cool to keep it from the community.
I can't wait for the next creations we're coming up with.
Oh, I got so many good ideas. I can't build for shit, but boy, can I think and talk. I got some cool ideas.
I think I am now Hutch's Excel calculator builder.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing. Okay, so
let's. You ready for this one?
I'm ready for this one. Yep. This is a beast. What is that stuff? This is how amazing this guy is. See,
so Hutch had a crazy idea. So I'm going to let you kind of walk through the concept here. So why don't you go to the concept?
As we're zooming out, you have to realize the crazier my idea got, the bigger this animal became. So go ahead and hide all that crap. Let's just zoom in on, C and D there.
Yeah. Let me just hide all this is my hard work on Easter Sunday for Hutch.
Oh my gosh. It's not for Hutch, it's for them. It did. Okay, zoom in on this. Okay. So let's stick this. What this is this could be your Cepheid martingale calculator. This could be you have bids in Anchor Kujira calculator. You kind of have to fudge and guess a little bit, but this is if you plan on buying dips on the way down at different levels. Where would your line in the sand be? So there's a lot of mathematical acrobatics, as you saw to the right before you hit it. But just to stick with our current story, we had with the 100 bLUNA, we know we could get to 40, right? So go ahead and put that in there.
Yep.
We know we could get to 40, but obviously if we borrow against our capacity on the way down, that's going to take us north of 40, hence what you're seeing there. So Luna's, let's kick it up a little bit because Luna's at 88 right now. I know like 87 and 82, there were stall periods. Let's say we wanted to buy, like we were willing to buy again at 82 because we didn't buy as much on the way down. So put in $82.
Yep.
And let's say we got some cash because maybe you had already borrowed and it's sitting in earn. Maybe you had dry powder and you were waiting for it to get to 60 and it didn't get there. And you're like, oh crap, I'll take 82. I'm sorry, I missed it. Right. Yep. And so let's not do 1,000 because let's see, this guy had like what, 30,000 in there? Right. 300 something bLUNA. It was about 30,000.
Yeah.
So let's say $2,000 of cash.
Okay.
So you could see, and there's a little, show them the little tab just in case you wanted to borrow, right?
Yeah. So you can either pay cash or borrow here. So what we're going to pick here is
pay cash.
If we borrow, we see our line in sand goes up, but we're going to pay cash. And we brought our line in the sand down to $38.26 because we bought 24.39 bLUNA. So just to check our math, because I like to do this, okay? If you went back to current line in the sand and you added 124.39, 38.26, 38.26. Math looks good.
This guy's amazing. Easter Sunday, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm glad that worked out too. I was a little nervous there. That was on the fly.
I really, okay. I'm surprised. All right. So let's, so that's pay cash. So let's kick that back up to borrow because let's say you don't have the cash, right?
Sure.
So now your line in the sand went from 40, but you kicked it up to 43 because you're borrowing against that old line of the sand, that capacity, and you're kicking it up a notch. That's okay. You feel pretty good. And you go, okay, well, wait a second. DCA by level 2, let's say it gets back to that 76. Like if you're lucky enough to get back to 76.
Yeah. So let's go.
Put that in there.
So this was buy one. And for those that would go back to that, now remember, because that's a cash tab, you can't start taking borrow back over here just to help. Because this borrow now takes this 2,000, adds it to your borrowed amount and recalculates your loan to value, right?
So now B.
So we're going to go here to B.
$76.
$76. Got it.
And let's go Cepheid, $4,000.
All right. $4,000 coming in. Are we borrowing or paying cash here?
We're going to borrow. We're going to borrow.
Okay. We're borrowing.
So now we doubled our buy just in good Cephii form. We went from 24.39 bLUNA. We doubled the dollar amount, but we got more than double because the price is lower. So now we picked up 52, but notice that kicked up our line in the sand to 49.14, which is still probably pretty safe. Again, since we brought up Cephii the man, I love his theory that there is a little bit of an invisible floor there, not financial advice. Everybody has to do their own research. But since that was the level that the VCs bought at to create the Bitcoin reserve was a little bit over 50. So you could still be pretty good there. So let's say we go crazy town in the next one, and we go to 67.50.
Okay.
And let's kick it up to 8,000.
Okay.
Right? This is a way for you to plot out where you get to.
Yep.
No, let's borrow again.
So we're going to borrow again.
So notice we're pushing it, right? Notice so our LTV at that moment, if bLUNA was at 67, would be 82.
Yep, with borrowing it.
We probably are pushing it. So let's just go 6,000.
And guess what feature this has? Let's just say you go over 100%. Oh, let me figure this out. Hold on, 30,000 maybe. Oh, more than that. Okay, 40,000. Liquidated.
Nice. That's cool.
So let's go back to 8,000. Okay.
Let's go make it 6.
Oh, 6. Sorry. You want to make it 6,000 borrowed. Okay.
Yep. So you still got at least more. It's riding pretty high. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's do 4. And I know this is not in true Cephii form, but what I realized from my own martingaling on the way down, whether I do it like with mental limit orders, meow limit orders, or I do it via Team Kajira, like I might put bids in the 4, 5, and 6% premiums. The ones in the 6 may never even fill.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like a bonus. If it even fills, at least I doubled the first couple. And if I get that, I got 7 extra bLUNA than I got before. And now I'm at least under 80 and my line in the sand's 52. That's pretty cool. Now which
is where I think we were at originally, right? The line in the sand is 52.79.
Yeah.
And so with this DC line in the sand, we've picked up an additional, what is that? 75 plus another 60, 135 roughly.
Yep.
bLUNA, and we're still at about the same line in the sand.
Now, keep in mind, that's only accounting because they had the collateral staging of 100 LUNA, the 50, whatever.
Yeah.
They had 100 LUNA somewhere, whether it was Nexus or
that's true
in the wallet. But yes, no, I think most people are going to be comfortable with the 52 for this moment. Again, you could get wrecked there if things go crazy FUD. Let's talk about the ultimate backstop for me. And I know this isn't available for everybody. Like I know there's full-time DeFi people, but for those of you that are still working and bringing in cash flow, let's change. It's already changed to pay cash. So like you don't want to borrow anymore because you're at a 78 LTV, but just like if I told you you would have another crack and you had to rob Peter to pay Paul, you had to do whatever you had to do, take a 401k loan, borrow against your stocks, right? Borrow against life insurance, take a home equity line of credit if you had it set up, do some 0% credit cards, post a paid off vehicle for a vehicle loan. But if you had a chance to pick up LUNA, let's just say you got lucky enough to pick it up at 55. Let's put 55. And you could come up with 10 grand. Let's put 10 grand. Well, now look at this. As long as in your mind, you knew you could scrape it together, and you'd have to be able to do it quickly. Like I understand there's ACH stuff that takes 24, 48 hours. But if you could scrape together, like we probably won't fall to 55 overnight. It's possible though. But if you could scrape together 10 grand, we can get you all the way back down to under 40 if you were prepared to buy cash. So there's so many different iterations of this calculator. Maybe you have the buy cash early and the borrow comes later, but that's why he made this.
Let's see what it does. Let's do a pay cash on the first one.
Okay.
But borrow, pay cash. We're at 36.60.
Actually, why don't you do it totally opposite? Go pay cash, borrow. Like, they're out of cash.
pay cash, pay cash.
Because I think this is what Cephii does. This is what Cephii does. Actually, make that $8,000. Make that a true martingale.
And then we'll put $8,000 here.
And then now make that 16, but borrow.
And borrow. You're at a $40 line in the sand with a 74% LTV.
And that's, you're at least borrowing at the very bottom, which who knows if that's the very bottom, but at least at the bottom of your buys. And if you are going to borrow, that's probably the better place to borrow. But everybody can actually use this tool now to find their own situation. Go ahead and zoom out a little bit, because he originally made 4, and I thought, it'd be really cool. I didn't know there was this big beast of a gorilla thing on the right there. I was like, can you just copy those 4 and make 8? And apparently he had to just kind of tack on all these. He goes, I made 6, Hutch. All right. So you got 6.
Well, because remember, there's every permutation of pay cash, borrow, pay cash, borrow. Like, I had to go through every iteration.
And he checks his math.
I have to check my math.
This is amazing. I got to say it again.
I'm sure someone will find a mistake. Let's be clear. But you know what?
Please,
we can always drop
comments,
drop an
DM
update.
us. We want to fix it. Oh, if you find a mistake and you help us fix it, we'll let you have the new version for free. So let's see. Let's go down to
2, 4, 8, 16. We borrowed. If I borrow again, I get liquidated. If I pay cash, I can bring that back down pretty significantly.
There's so many iterations.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options you can do now at this point.
That's the beauty of it. Let's do this. So the current anchor P&L, which we're going to go over, and the new borrow efficiency. Let's move those 2 over to input, because I think those should be the first 2. I love that we showed them what we showed them, and hopefully you guys are just going nuts about this because it's amazing. But I think that these 2 tabs that we're going to go over should be right after you do your inputs. And in fact, let's revisit the original inputs. Did everything we just put in there screw up the original inputs or no?
No. So this always comes off of your original inputs here. Nothing that changes over DC line and sand will update this. This is always based off of Woodruff.
Yeah. So current anchor P&L, let's just hit the inputs again, just so let's revisit that. We probably should have done this second, but whatever. We just built this thing.
So again, I think
we built this thing. I just talk.
You had a big part of it. So we have the bLUNA price, the borrowed amount, the liquidation price, and those 3 pieces really just drove the last 3 tabs that we walked through together. These next couple ones are going to drive what this current anchor P&L. And to be honest, I never looked at my wallet this way. So I think this is something everyone should go through and do an exercise of, because it's an opportunity cost of maybe what you're gaining or maybe what you're losing. I guess you will only find out until you run through this Excel. So what you're entering here is the borrow APR on Anchor, the distribution APR, the earn APY, the Luna staking yield. And again, what do you have currently sitting in earn?
And just before you jump, for our new people, do you want to just show them at least where the earn, the borrow APR and the distribution? Yeah.
Yep. So borrow APR is right here. Distribution APR is right here.
Earn, you have to click the earn tab.
The earn, you got to click the earn tab, and then you'll go to station.terra.money if you didn't know, where you can see the current staking yield for.
And what you do, sometimes people have a hard time with it. So it says Terra Station in the top left, and then you think it's just a title. But when you click that, it's actually kind of a home tab, and there's some cool kind of global metrics about Terra in general. And there's a widget there that shows you your staking yield.
Yep. All right. So let's go to current anchor P&L. So what do we got here, Hutch? What are we looking at?
Yeah. So really what this is this is going to break down daily the credits and debits. That's what a P&L is. It's otherwise known as a cash flow statement, your profit and loss statement. It's an income. Like you have a balance sheet, right? That's your assets, your liabilities, but then you have a P&L, which shows cash flows. And this is going to show the daily movement based on those inputs we put in. So the first one is probably the most complicated, that row 7, daily staking rewards lost on bLUNA. So most people just put that to 0 for a second, and we'll come back and revisit that. Let's just put that to 0. The second one, people do get that. That's the daily interest on the loans, that borrow APR. Maybe just kind of show them where they got that again. That 11.
Yeah, so This would be your current borrowed amount times whatever the borrow rate is divided by 365.
So $4.29, you're not paying the loan. It's just accruing. That little green bar is just inching over to the right every single day. And for this person for $4.29, and that'll compound on itself. So it actually become more. Now, thankfully, they're giving you a token subsidy. And Remy Titot said that that was going to happen for the next 2 years. Woohoo! And he's part of LFG. So I believe him. So at least they're kicking back about half of that. I can't see. What's that number two?
About
more
half.
than half of that.
A little more than half.
Yeah.
And again, that math is done by distribution APR times your current loan divided by 365.
There you go. So that's a credit, why it's in green. Now the interest on Anchor Earn, he typed in how much of his borrow amount he had in Anchor Earn. So that assumed that it's almost like for those of you that are using Shigio's Lunanomics bulletproof strategy, you do some of the borrow and you loop into Luna right away, but then you do some and you put it in Earn to go ahead and defend your loan. Well, this is going to test, well, I shouldn't say that. The next calculator is going to test how efficient just doing that extra bar to Anchor Earn is. This is just going to tell you globally how you're doing, but at least you're earning an additional $2.68 from Anchor Earn, which you can see totals $5.24. The borrow amount is $4.29. So you're coming out ahead. Oh,
yeah, I got to change. I forgot. I didn't do this tab with the colors. I'll fix that.
But so will it, if it's negative, will it turn red? And when it's positive, will it turn green?
Yes, it will.
Oh, cool. You don't have to do it right now, but I was just wondering.
Do it right now. Okay, we'll do it later. Yeah. This will be green. This should be green.
So you're making $1 a day net for all the stuff you borrowed. You got all that extra Luna, but because you're doing the extra Anchor Earn, the Anch token subsidy, right? You're making about $1 a day. And the annualized net return on the whole thing is 1.18%. And you think, woohoo, that's cool. I'm making 1.18% plus all the free Luna I got, and Luna's going to the moon. I'm killing it, except for that top line, that opportunity cost. So you always have to factor in the cost of that money. And if you had never done this strategy and you just kept bLUNA in your wallet, remember, you'd be earning 6.57% on that bLUNA amount. And what it's showing you is you're not getting that $5.30 anymore because of how much you have collateralized. And it's up there somewhere, right? Or no?
Yeah. So this calculator is doing your number.
Yeah. The 327
times the staking yield times the current price of bLUNA divided by 365.
Yeah. So that 327 bLUNA, if you never did this strategy, you'd be earning $5.30. But since you're not getting it, you have to factor that into the cost of this loan, right? Corporations do that. Corporations factor in the cost of the money, and they should, right? They should, because if they weren't doing this, they could be doing something else. Right. And so notice that our daily P&L, now it really is red, is actually $4.34 a day. Now, you're not physically losing that money, right? You actually are physically picking up $1 a day. But if you factor in the cost of that money or the opportunity cost that you could be earning if you weren't doing the strategy with that bLUNA, the true cost of this loan is actually $4.34 a day. Now, listen, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I got an Anchor loan right now. Lucky, you got an Anchor loan right now, right?
Yep.
Why are we dealing with this opportunity cost? Because we have a thesis and we could be total idiots. So this is not financial advice. We have a thesis that Luna is undervalued and it'll go up way more if we look back, whatever it is, 6 months, a year and a half, 5 years, whatever that looks like. We believe, and we're willing to stomach this cost because we believe the appreciation of that Luna will be greater than this. Not to mention, when Luna appreciates a little bit, we can also remove collateral. Why don't you just, I know that's not a button, but just click that withdraw collateral button over there in the bottom right, the screenshot. yeah, right there. You can click that. And this person is actually riding at a very low LTV. It was 58%. Now, they can sleep better at night, but if you think about it, they're parking 327 bLUNA as collateral, when really they could withdraw some of that collateral. Or the other thing they could do is they could post extra bLUNA as collateral, excuse me, they can take some of that bLUNA and they can borrow extra against it to ride at somewhere between a 70 and 80% LTV. Now, that does sometimes come with sleepless nights. Shigio's advice, loved it. Subscribe to these guys, the cryptocurrencyalerting.com, all one word, cryptocurrencyalerting.com. And you get like a certain amount of free ones, and then you got to give them $5 a month or something. But then they'll actually call you and wake you up in the middle of the night. And you know what? I keep my ringer on just for that, so I can ride at a higher LTV, because either I withdraw some of that bLUNA so it could be doing work for me, so I don't have as big of an opportunity cost, or I just borrow more. And that's what the next calculator does. The next calculator tests if we just borrow more, what is the P&L on the extra borrow? So let's take I don't know what the number is, but like the number is 500. Let's kind of use this person. Let's just say like 130 of that bLUNA, and I don't know the exact number, but probably they should borrow against 130 of that bLUNA, and let's just say that gets them to 70%. I don't know what it is, right? Do you think that's close, or should we use 100? You understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah, let's use 100. Let's
use
100.
So let's say of that 327 and 100, and the way you guys can use this is you just say, I got this bLUNA sitting in my wallet. I can keep it in my wallet, earning 6.57. You actually earn a tiny bit less when it's bLUNA, but 6.5-ish. You could put it in Nexus right now and earn 7.5-ish. You could pair it with Luna and do an LP. That's pretty close, right? We just do 100.
I'm doing the math. Hold on.
Oh, you know what? That's what I love about this guy. He's going to do the math.
It's 30.
It's 30. Okay, let's do 30.
30 pulls you up to 70 here.
What gets him to 80, or what gets him to 75?
Let me see. Let's say 36 or something, 37.
Okay, and what gets him to 80? I'm just curious, because I think we should show him all three, just to show him the movement. What gets him to 80?
Hold on, let me do the math real quick.
The higher you ride on your, oh, go ahead.
We'll just guess. We'll just say like 40-ish. We'll just guess here.
The higher you ride in your LTV, the more efficient it is. So let's go back to new borrow efficiency.
Yeah. So let's go with the 40 with the 80, right?
Okay. So that's 40 bLUNA, and you're going to ride in an 80 LTV.
Yep.
And so
these all are good numbers.
But we left this dynamic so you can also test, like, what happens if the borrow rate goes up? What happens if the ink subsidy goes down? And so we left this dynamic. It doesn't fill in from the other one, so you can test and measure it. And we're assuming that anchor earn is not 1959, it's 1947. Sometimes it does go up. All right. So it auto calculates. So see that there at the bottom? What this person should do, not financial advice, but hypothetically, if they really want to optimize a loan and sleep not as well, they could borrow an extra $2,301.88. And by doing so, let's go through the P&Ls. On just this isolated amount, on just this isolated borrow of 40 bLUNA, riding at LTV, the $2,300, go ahead and put your cursor on that 65 cents up top. Yeah, so they're losing daily staking rewards of 65 cents a day on that 40 bLUNA. The interest on the loans costing them 71 cents. The daily ANK distribution, they're picking up 43 cents. And the 19% that they're getting on the anchor earn, they're picking up $1.23. So the subtotal of the debits and credits leaves them at a net 29 cents a day. And the net 29 cents a day brings them to an annualized net rate of return of 2.97%. Now, what's great about this is that 2.97% is actually 2.97 over and above the opportunity cost of the staking. Can we make that 65 cents a zero just to prove it?
Yep.
So if we make that zero, if there was no opportunity cost, you can see now it kicks up on just this isolated amount. If they just had the 40 bLUNA in their wallet, they'd be getting 6.5-ish. But by actually borrowing against it at a very high LTV at 80 and parking it in Anchor Earn, they actually kick up the financial efficiency of that bLUNA to a net 9.54%. That's gross. But then if we recalculate, if you put the lost staking rewards back in there, it's 2.97 over and above
Right.
the lost opportunity cost. We might want to put that in the description, not now, but at some point. Yeah, this thing's a beast. So hopefully our hope was this will help a lot of you make better decisions, like whether it be about the financial efficiency of just every dollar that you have and earn. Should I post more collateral? Should I borrow against it? You can constantly, Anchor's constantly changing. It's dynamic. So you can constantly test and measure how good of a decision it is.